Yo, what is happening out there, Moogles? It's the Schwantz27. I am joined tonight by Drinks Glue in the commentary booth. Drinks Glue, how are we feeling?
I am feeling wonderful tonight, Schwantz. I'm super excited to showcase some Kefka Grand Prix finals for your racers on screen. Some of them we haven't had on the podcast before we've been doing, so always fun to see some new runners and some new faces.
Yeah, I try to rotate the runners each week in and out of sort of this vodcast, and it's been pretty easy because a lot of the times have been very, very tight, and this week has been no exception, as with the 7th week of the Flashback Battle Royale, we are doing the Kefka Grand Prix Finals flag set. So this is sort of like the chopping block week. This is the murder week, if you will. We have gone from 16 down to the MySpace top 8 here, and we're going to be showcasing 4 of our runners who did make the top 8 onto next week's flags, but we'll talk about all that later on in the stream. Let's talk about what we're going to be dealing with this week. So, Glue, we got the flags on the screen in front of us. You were one of the participants of this week's shenanigans, so tell me sort of what took your eye in terms of flags and options here for this particular flag set.
One of the cool things about this flag set was the huge amount of GP you started with, plus 100% random shop. So if you're not familiar with 100% random shops, it is quite fun. There is good stuff anywhere and everywhere. And with that 500,000 GP, you are allowed to afford just about all of it. So you kind of go around the world, you visit a few places, you charge up your parents' credit card. Don't worry about the interest later; it will come in the bill. The bill will come in the mail, and then you go on about yourself. But yeah, so it's kind of cool in that regard. So you start off with very well outfitted characters. The downside, what you got laying out in front of you, is a little more scary though, because everything's starting at least level 19 from a damage standpoint. So you're running right into supercharged power, enemies, bosses, and whatnot. Plus, dragons are unscaled, so you can't go, touch a dragon for quite a while in this seed. Ideally, with an unscaled dragon, you'd want to be in the 30s before you start tackling those monsters. And yeah, so fun time to start, but then, we take the training wheels off and it's a tough road ahead.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a ramp up period here for sure, and we'll see how the runners tackle the fact that to begin the seed, they're at level 3 and everything is at level 19. And that is before, of course, if you go to do Locke's Nourish Weapon Shop check, because we know we will definitely start with Locke this seed. And if you happen to get an Esper, hey, you have just bumped up the scaling to level 22 now. Which is fun. The other thing I noticed, besides the unscaled dragons and the huge purse to start Daddy Warbucks style, is that party experience is split amongst the surviving members. However, at a 10 times rate, a party of 3 gets slightly higher than normal experience multiplier, whereas a party of 4 gets slightly lower than a experience multiplier that we're standardly used to. So, Glue, do we think we're going to see a lot of parties of 3 here in this seed tonight?
It wouldn't be a bad idea, but I did some napkin math the other day, and with 100% random shops, you could expect to find 2.2 experience eggs in the world. So if you find experience eggs, a 4 additional party is a little more feasible, probably a little more common. I would expect to see some of these runners, but if you don't, a little less, at the pie to go around. So maybe that's when you want to start considering, doing some 3 character parties and whatnot.
All right, so let's check out our runners for this evening's festivities. We've got in the upper left-hand corner, one of the creators of the event, the commissioner of Ultros League, that little rocky sort of UI that we got there, Double Down. In the upper right-hand corner, who is that handsome fella with the greenish slate? That's me. It's going to be really weird talking about myself in the third person, but we're going to go with it. In the bottom left there, we've got Madalast in the traditional blue and white trim, and keeping it OG as well, Papa Shango 53 over there in the bottom right-hand corner. So those are our runners here, and we'll get started in just a moment.
Yeah. Not often we're able to drag Double Down on the restream. Not only do we get 1 admin, we get 2. We get Schwantz. Blessed we are tonight, my friends.
Yeah, and as per usual, this is a vodcast, so if the audio is a little funky, just let me know, because then I will go ahead and try and correct it here. I know that I didn't talk during my restream because I was hoping that I'd get featured, but that's something that we never really know that'll happen or not when we're actually running our flags. And we start out with Lock, we knew that, but we also get Realm, and we get a special surprise.
Who's that third fella in the party? I can't quite see. Can you tell me who that is, Swans?
Well, it's not John Cena because I can actually see them. However, it will be somebody that I will be dumping immediately from my party as soon as I get something much better. Checking the shops first, of course, there is a Blizzard Orb if we wanted to keep Yeti in the party there in the Relic shop. That's a pretty nice relic to have. Not only does it give Yeti the Storm ability, but it gives you some elemental resistances as well. Mega Elixir in the item shop here. So that's pretty nice to have. Minerva in the armor shop, and both Yeti and Realm can wear that, so I'm expecting our runners to buy a few of those things. So we'll call out some of the good stuff that we see in the shops here.
Would you take that snow muffler off Umaro and let him wear the murderer said, or would you let him rock the snow muffler? What would you do there, Schwantz?
Well, Yeti knows only one thing. Oh, 3 Battle Curse Shield Papa Shango shows us.
Ooh.
Wow, that is huge, because it's supposed to be anywhere between 1 and 32. So having it be 3 and access to Ultima at its original MP cost is going to be huge for these runners here. Question about the snow muffler, though. Since Yeti is going to be front row smashing everything, I'm going to leave the snow muffler on for now. And it looks like Schwantz is the only runner that's going to peek what's at Umaro. And hey, that is a best girl Terra up there. So we know what that reward is when our runners decide to go do that.
Yeah, a little underrated find for Matalast. He found some gauntlets in the relic shop in Narsh. So that's huge. Speaking of huge, that's an experience egg. So
wow.
It turns out you have to go very far to find the good stuff here.
Well, it looks like 3 of our 4 runners are definitely going to find those experience eggs, as Schwantz, unfortunately, heading over to Locke's free check here in order to pick up that choice at the weapon shop. Is he going to go up and go get Terra immediately right away? That'll be an interesting decision. We'll see if that does it. But yeah, having experience eggs in a shop, let's blow as much money on that as we possibly can, as well as some super balls there for double down. Let's see if he picks up a few. Genji Glove or Genji Armor is the choice, so not great there. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I would say with this huge boost to the starting levels, even for fixed encounters, your fixed encounters are even going to be a little bit dicey. So finding those super balls is huge because you can use super balls on things like goblins or behemoths and allow you to comfortably get through those fights instead of having to sweat it out. So that's a huge find there for some guys.
3 Battle Curse Shield Ice Rods in the weapon shop there, and they are at the standard price. So let's buy a stack of 11 of those. That's another way to get through those early battles there. But yeah, so we do have the 3 Battle Curse Shield. We'll see if we find any ribbons or peace rings in some shops anywhere. And we'll see where our runners decide to go. Because we do have Bowser's Mansion open to us with a Realm in our starting party as a potential. Because we are required to take at least 2 encounters there before heading through the rest of Bowser's Mansion.
All right, so Swantz, you're visiting the World of Ruin Nakia shop here.
Hey, Super Balls.
Why there of all places?
It's a pretty condensed town in spite of the fact that there are annoying little kids running around everywhere to get in my way. But it's a pretty condensed town and it has everything. It's got relic shop, item shop, weapon shop, and armor shop. So we see some merit awards and hero rings, but not very lucrative coming to this town, unfortunately. Madalas did peek the Tizen Thief, and there's our ribbons for sale there. I did not see how much it was or even what it was, so we'll see. Schwantz is going to go peek it right here in the World of Ruin, and we'll get a read on exactly what it is.
Yeah, we got a little bit of divergence going on here. We saw Schwantz visit World of Ruin Nakia, but we got, double down, run into the basement. Chests are also 100% randomized, so not only are shops giving the goods, chests are as well. We got Madalas and Zen, and then we got Papa Shanko and Albrook. I like all of these places. A lot of great places to visit when you have 100% randomized everything.
Yeah, the little cat hood action there. Unfortunately, since we do get 0 MP, or rather 0 GP from fights, that's not going to help out there, but it does give some elemental resistance to whomever can wear that. So it's still a great pickup in spite of the fact that it won't be able to pay for itself, unlike in other runs here. So we got a couple runners in Albrook. We got the top runners into Zen, but just in different worlds here. And we'll see. So with 5 dragons on the table and access to lock right away, that means that we can go ahead and do Phoenix Cave. But as you mentioned, Drinks Glue, the dragons here in this seed are unscaled. So it might be a bit risky to go into Phoenix Cave right away.
If you're able to Super Ball an unscaled dragon, I have lots of questions about what you're doing. Because that unscale means they're essentially their vanilla levels plus 10.
Right.
And the average dragon's gonna have like north of 30k HP, and you just can't live long enough to get that many Super Balls off unless you don't negate all of their elements. Ooh, that is a Genji Globe and an offering at the same shop. That is a sign if I ever saw one, and some Valiant that everybody can wear.
Yeah, Papa Shango scribbling those down on a piece of paper somewhere for sure. Yeah, so I believe there are Valiant Knives there in World of Ruin Albrook. I think I saw on Schwanz's screen briefly. Minerva Behemoth Suit in shops. So yeah, lots of goodies in shops as we are pointing out here. It just is a matter of how do you spend your 500k purse here. And we are seeing runners tend to go to shops that are relatively compacted on screen. There's Thamasa, which is a pretty small, compact town here as well. A couple earrings there in the shop, which is good.
Yeah, we see Double Down and Papa Shango also going to World of Balance Thamasa. Chest are a little spread out, but still it's a full complement of shops. So you can peek the relic shop, you can get access to an armor and a weapon shop, so you can get a full complement of everything if you still have some money left by coming to places like Albrook. I do like Madalas going to World of Ruin Jador here. Realm's opening check in Owzer's is a fantastic opening check. It's one of the few checks you can get a save point that has fixed encounters right before you fight the boss. Plus, you can see if the reward is a character or not and walk out of there if you're inclined to do so.
Ooh, checking the auction house here. Ooh, it looks like we do have some glowing stones available, and Madalas is going to go put in a bid. Why not spend some of your 500 thou on whatever is in here? Oh, a Genji glove. High.
Yeah. Very high.
So this is the $20,000 reward. So it looks like we could have gotten up to 2 espers in this particular flag set in the auction house. With this $20,000 reward, however, that means the only esper that remains is in the $10,000 slot, which now that we bought that $20,000 slot has a 25% chance of showing up next. That 50k item is still 50% chance, so we'll probably see it again here, and we'll see if Madalas heads outside to save in case the dreaded imp robot comes. But no, my goodness, here it is.
Just get the esper, then there's no need to save. Schwantz, what do you think about this auction house place this early with his starting cash?
If this is a relatively good esper, which with Siren it definitely is, we definitely would like that for Final Kefka. This is a huge play because maybe not all of the runners are going to end up here at the auction house, because it can be pretty brutal and RNG dependent. But this is a really good spike here for Madalas getting their second esper on the board, and it's one that with Siren, like we mentioned, is going to be useful all the way to the end as well.
Yeah, I didn't even think about it myself coming here and doing that at the start. So I really like it. Even more so, as you mentioned, if there's something huge on that, like there's magic power +2 or whatever, with his experience eggs, all he has to do is win one fight, and Realm will essentially one-shot everything for the next hour.
Yep, Thunder Rods there in the shop as well in World of Ruin Jador. So all of our runners are hooked up with some Super Balls, some rods. I believe Schwantz is the only one that has the Valiant Knife so far. I didn't see any other big weapons for sale, though, so we'll see if anybody else goes there. Double Down just leaving Albrook, so I'm assuming that they also saw those Valiant Knives for sale. And, yeah, Owzer's Mansion is probably going to be our first stop for most of our runners here. It looks like Schwantz is definitely gearing up here, as Torado has Doom on it, which is nice for the final party. That is the esper that we got from Tizen Thief. Papa Shango just purchased that. And Madalas is going to go get his Genji Glove, Genji Armor choice here. Minerva in a pot, so if you didn't want to buy one, there's one in Owzer's Mansion.
Yeah, Madalas finding out the bad news that it's Genji this or Genji that for the World of Ruin lock weapon shop world. That's fine. Having Genji gloves on hand when you have access to infinite swords, if you can just kind of figure out where they are, is not a bad thing to have. He's also going to
Oh,
see what's
boy.
going on with the curse shield situation. And ooh, that's a goblin fight.
Yeah, so this one should be interesting. Unfortunately, Schwantz did not equip a ribbon or peace ring, so he's going to go fight this 2v3 instead of 1 or 3v3, and Realm definitely just took a beating there from a physical attack. So yeah, he's going to reset and re-equip that party to make sure that it is correct instead of having Realm dancing around like mad.
Yeah, that goblin fight is inherently scary. They have access to very high magic defense. Can get that fight can get a little spicy if it goes on a little too long. But as Schwantz mentioned, Schwantz will now re-equip, analyze the situation, and he will very tactically equip that heal rod on his realm. So now that realm is no longer a 4v2 fight; it's back to a 3v3 fight.
Yeah, that heal rod will potentially come into to play here. You could even use the heal rod as a person on your curse shield user, and they will basically just heal your party by continually just punching your own team in the face. So that is interesting. Couple of offering purchases there for Double Down, especially with those Valiant Knives. Yeah, he's got 2 of them in his inventory right there, so he's already Octo Knife ready to go here.
Madalas finding some slam dancers, and Umaro doing some slam to the slam dancers. This is a much more tolerable first fight, except for that whole absolute zero thing. But we're gonna have some characters survive it because of the Minerva and the Snow Muffler, if that's all right.
Yeah. So the interesting thing about adding levels to the enemies is that they will get stronger spells and they will deal more damage. However, the enemy HP is still going to be based on the characters, Espers, Dragons times 3 without adding the 10 additional levels. So they're going to be a little bit of glass cannons here. So you might see some of these random encounters go down rather quickly, but they will pack a big punch. And Madalas finding out that that one encounter will throw an AoE ice spell at you. So let's be careful here.
Yeah. Yeah, unfortunately, he's going to turn around and do the same thing again. But I think Locke could wear the Minerva, so if he just kind of analyzes the situation, reassesses, and throws the Minerva on Locke, Locke can survive this fight comfortably. But even if he can't, now that Umaro and Realm have got those levels, he really just needs one more level or one more fight, some way, somehow, and then he could slap the Paladin shield on Locke, and then Locke is just fine.
Well, on top of that, offering in a chest there from Double Down in case you didn't find the shop earlier. The other interesting thing is with the split party experience, it also means that Realm and Umaro are getting a lot more levels than if Locke was still alive. So maybe it's kind of a blessing in disguise here, but at some point, Glue, he's going to want to get levels on Locke.
And what better time than the present? Curse Shield undone. Umaro takes care of business as Umaro only knows how. And Madalas is in a strong position to get going now.
Yeah, so taking off the Moogle Charm was that choice for Madalas. It looks like Double Down taking off the Moogle Charm right before the South Figaro check, which is one of Locke's checks. Meanwhile, Schwantz is fighting his way through Owser's Mansion, gets past those first 2 encounters, and is leaving. No, the check's the other way, dude. Where are you going? Maybe he wants to save just in case the enemies later on in Owser's Mansion give him trouble, and he doesn't want to have to start back at square 0 again. Maybe that's what he's doing here.
Maybe he's saving because he's gonna step into that auction house and try his luck at the craps table.
If only our luck was as good as Madalast's there, spiking the Esper on the second try. Looks like Bolt 3 was on one of our Espers. That must be Siren because it wasn't on Tirado. Yeah, Bolt 3 and Osmos. Wow, that is a great Esper to find early on, especially as we mentioned. Ultima is available in the seed due to the fact that we have a 3-battle Curse Shield to teach it to us. Even if it was at 256 for 254 MP rather, Osmosis is still nice for us to have. Fortunately for us, it's only 80 MP to cast Ultima here.
Looks like Double Down and Madalas got the same idea. They must have pre-planned together. They're doing a few fights in the South Figaro Cave. This is nice to do because 1, it's on your way to a check, and then 2, there's the free heal at the end of it. But there is no save point though, so it is one of those situations where this is a tough, unfortunate boss that you lose all the progress you're making here.
Speaking of tough and unfortunate, I guess he's going for it. Oh, we got Thunder Rods. We're fine. unless this
Yeah,
happens to
we're
Realm.
fine. Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah. A lot of people's thoughts on Umaro and how useful and strong he is seem to change when he's muddled against your party.
Yep, that's for sure.
Alright. Narapa for double down and Madalas. Let's see who can Narapa first and move on from here. Unfortunately, those Fortis are doing Fortis type things to Schwantz, and looks like Papa Shango is on his way now to get rocking and rolling now that he's surveyed the world a little bit.
Yeah, it looks like we got a Go-Go there as the reward from the South Figaro Cave. Very nice to have Go-Go at the party. We've got rods and super balls all over the place, although I haven't seen a lot of usage of them. Double Down was just about to use them here, as we do have one more fight there for Schwantz to uncurse that shield, and there we go. Making good usage of that Genji glove that we found at the Norse Weapon Shop here. And it looks like Double Down is going to get a message from the Save Umaro Foundation immediately after the stream, taking his party down to 3 with just Lock, Realm, and Go-Go here.
Yeah, I guess Schwantz's Double Down's thinking here is that, with all of these rods, super balls I have early, that Go-Go is going to pay off. Because I can get double value out of those. Let me break them, mimic them, let that carry me for a little bit. Because I don't think he peaked it, but eventually everybody's going to find that terror right with a Umaro start. So he has a pretty nice character in his future that can wear some big swords for him when he makes his way up there.
All right, at the end of Alzur's Mansion here, it looks like number 24, and that is a pathetic Super Ball, and we're getting muddled again. Schwantz can't seem to keep his head on straight here. Fortunately, though, that Genji Glove double Valiant Knife putting in work. Unfortunately for Schwantz, he has not found that offering yet that Double Down has. So we're going to see the true power of the Valiant Knife Genji Glove offering on his screen. Not a character here with a soldier painting. We'll see what the reward here is at Alzur's Mansion. And it's an Esper.
Esper indeed. Looks like Madalas and Double Down, they must have, be sharing notes because Double Down's following in Madalas's footsteps. First to South Figaro Cave, now he's going to Alzur's. I do like this. Between the opening checks, I think, doing South Figaro Cave or Alzur's Mansion it is the move, just because there's nice safe, some encounters, free heal at the end of South Figaro Cave. Here, you get access to a save point. I think with Phoenix Cave, with this start, with it being unscaled, it's far better to do that later rather than earlier. I could see, some scenario where you back yourself into needing the dragon that's in there. And if you walk through Phoenix Cave twice, you probably don't feel good about whatever you're doing or not doing.
No
So
way.
it's better off to just save that for later. Or if it's required, then you know what, maybe by the time you figure out it's required, you're able to hit on that dragon.
All right, well, we're getting selling a lot of items here for Schwantz, so I think he's going to head into the auction house to try his luck. Papa Shango, meanwhile, taking off the Moogle Charm, doing some of his first grind fights here, and unfortunately, Yeti is getting high on the job there. Turned into a stone.
Yep.
Oh no, the Imp Robot! Well, so the World of Ruin auction house does have a 6.25% chance of giving you the Imp Robot right off the bat. So that's just unlucky. That's not going to happen again, right?
Yeah, no, of course not.
Question from the chat: what is the unlock in this flag set? So it is 7 characters, 10 espers. Since this is an older flag set, that was more of the standard numbers from back in the day. And we also have 5 unscaled dragons that we have to kill as well. So those are the numbers that we're going to have to go to. Hence why I think most of our runners are putting off Phoenix Cave now. I think around level 25 to 30 is probably when you might want to take on your first dragon. It'll be a little rough, but you could probably get through it. Just depending upon which dragon it actually is, right?
Yeah.
All right,
Now, the good news with having access to a Minerva is you can essentially kill half of the dragons, around level 10 if you get the right one. But not everybody can wear that Minerva, so that experience kind of gets bundled into one spot, which is cool, but also, you need, at some point in time, you need other characters to be able to do things for the Kefka's Tower. Schwantz picking up the 50k GP item. Surely this will take that out of there and just make the auction house much, much smoother for him now, right?
Yeah, so this means that Genji glove now has a 50% chance of being put up for auction, the Esper a 25% chance, and then the other two things that we don't want a 12% chance. So here we go. What are we getting? Alright, so this is the 20k Genji glove. This makes sense. So he's going to buy this as well, because then that'll make the Esper a 50% chance of showing up. However, that also means those other two things that he doesn't want are 25 apiece. So it's a coin flip, basically, after this. So hopefully he goes out and saves. Meanwhile, Mog is dancing around here at Esper Mountain for Madalas. So this will be character number 5 already for them.
Ooh, very nice.
And it's oh no.
Ooh, this is I hope you got. Well, no, we have the Valiant Knives.
We have Valiant Knives. We got Super Balls, and we have Mimic. The problem is we also have Yeti, who's going to do this. Meanwhile, Double Down talks to the guy at the front, decides not to go get the shiny stones right now, but he knows that they are there, so he's going to keep that in the back of his mind here. Schwantz, meanwhile, sees the chest instead of the Esper and says, "No thanks, I do not want." So he's going to try this again here, and it's already been about 4 or 5 minutes here for Schwantz that he's spending in the auction house. So one of the things you don't want to do with the auction house is, you know, run into this string of bad luck, hence why a lot of runners tend to fade this particular check. You're seeing why you might want to do it with Madalas's case of getting it second try, and then with Schwantz's try as another Imp Robot, so...
I think you had that statement right with the first handful of words when you said you'll see a lot of runners not visit the auction house. And I think that was the end of the statement. All you need to convey there.
Yeah, I mean, you're seeing it play out in real time, right? It depends on how good or bad your luck is. Mm-hmm. By the way, in Ultros League or Moogle Cup flag sets, which maybe we'll plug the Moogle Cup after this, the another Imp Robot, of course. The $20,000 or reward is always an Esper. So if you buy the $50,000 item, you have a better chance of getting the Esper, because it won't be in this 10k slot that we're seeing right here.
Yeah, I do want to take a moment and give a shout out. I really appreciate Schwantz's determination here. He will not let the Imp Robot deter him. A lot less runner would see the Imp Robot and turn around and run in fear, but not Schwantz, and he is rewarded for his persistence.
This is the sunken cost fallacy playing out in real time here in the upper right-hand corner. If I walked away after doing this for 5 minutes with nothing, then that's the end of my run. If this is an Esper that's really good, then perhaps I could salvage it, and we already know that it's Siren, which is really good, with Bolt 3, which is even better. So, is it worth the 6 minutes that I gave up to get this? Probably not, but it's another number. So that's number 3 for Schwantz there. Meanwhile, our left-hand side runners have Mog. Did they insert Mog into the party, or are they sticking with 3 still?
I'm pretty sure they inserted Mog and removed Umaro from the game's memory. As you can see on my last screen, he took Umaro out, put Mog in. And Double Down riding with Go-Go. Interesting choice there.
Yeah, until we potentially can get another character. Remember, we haven't seen really, other than the Valiant Knives, right? We haven't seen big weapons yet.
Mm-hmm. I don't think Madalas triggered Lone Wolf. I think he's walking up without it, so...
no.
Yeah.
I mean, you could still do Kefka at Norsh and get teleported back down, but then you got to walk back up and you don't get teleported back down. So, every runner does this at least once in their Worlds Collide history. Welcome to the community, Mount at last. You know, give it up. A little golf clap here for them. We'll see what they decide. Oh, did they realize it now? Oh, no. They're dragging out the inevitable here.
Yeah, what do you do here? Do you turn around and go back and do it, or you just finish Kefka at Norsh? I think you turn around. Maybe they didn't realize it.
I mean, you reset back to the bottom. Because you don't want to do this twice. It's faster to reset down than to walk. Oh, he's going all the way up. Yep.
Yeah, well, I was worried Madalas was going to save over his save slot, so now he's maybe thinking, you know, I think that's you reset. And if you by chance didn't save at the bottom of Narsh, that's fine. You just saved right there.
Yeah. Oh. That's a save to that save point. Yeah. It sometimes is worth it to save in different save slots. There we go. Illumina as one of the choices for Lone Wolf. Double Down is going to forego the Illumina for now, although I don't know if we know where Terra is, so we should go back and get it at some point for her, right?
Yeah, most definitely. I think with Umaro in the party, that waiting on the Illumina is a no-brainer. You got enough to get through this fight, whatever it is, at Kefka and Arsh, and then you just go grab the Illumina when you go to your Umaro stuff.
All right, so that is Go-Go for Schwantz and for Papa Shango. So it looks like at least one of our two runners is sticking with Umaro. The other one is not. So you want to plug your plug your foundation here. Is certainly an appropriate time.
Oh yeah, of course. So Save Umaro Foundation, we aim to prevent the 4 atrocious crimes you are seeing on screen tonight. Umaro belongs in the active party. He does not belong in the airship. He belongs alongside you with his friends, attacking bosses, defeating Kefkas, getting crack pals for you, the loyal runner. So the Save Umaro Foundation aims to prevent Umaros from residing on airships and instead aims to put them back in the active party. Now these 4 runners tonight, will they finish the seed with leaving all this firepower on the bench? It remains to be seen, but atrocious crimes have been committed tonight.
Yeah, I with the Valiant Knife, I know that Yeti can actually use the Valiant Knife, so that at least is a decent weapon for him to have, right? Versus like if you were going to give him an Illumina or a Ragnarok, you're literally just leaving damage behind because of the fact that Yeti can't crit. But with Valiant Knives on the table, there's definitely an opportunity to have a good build for Umaro here. As Madalas is going to pick up their Esper here. Ragnarok the Esper over Illumina the Sword, and Double Down gets through the Kefka and Norsh fight. That's Palador for them. Schwantz super balling his way through Tritok, so the runners on the left have been following one another, and now it seems the runners on the right are doing the same.
The only difference between Double Down and Madalas so far is Madalas doing the auction house. I think Double Down's on a little more shopping, and he's stumbled across a few offerings, which is going to allow him to have a little more offensive firepower. But no, I do like what Madalas is doing here with the 4 characters. He found all of those experience eggs, so the offense, the XP loss from offense later on this year is a little mitigated because of that. So there's more than enough experience to go around to comfortably support 4 players if you have some eggs.
All right, so that's our health mog there for everyone. And what are we doing here? Oh, Papa Shango bringing the party down to 1. So this might be a Zone Eater play for them.
Yes, indeed. We haven't seen Zoner yet, and I don't think I visited during my official runs. This is news to me.
Yeah, so we got Papa Shango also making use of the big blue bubble here. So it seems that Slow and Steady was the Papa Shango model. Has Ultima online for at least one of his characters here. And Schwantz looks like they are confident enough at level 24 and 22 to go try and take a dragon here. This is a... Woohoo! This is
bolder than the auction house play.
No guts, no glory, rather. Yeah. If he gets the white dragon here, then that would be incredible with access to Siren. So we'll see how that plays out here. Meanwhile, Madalas getting caught there by the Ursus, and he's taking some money, and we're not going to get that back. That's more money. Hey!
Oh no! Stop it!
get this grabby bear out of here.
Yeah. Normally that's fantastic news, but because the GP's multiplier is 0, I don't know if you know this or not, but anything you multiply by 0 is 0. That's cool little fact of the day.
Yeah, that's a little napkin math there. And it is the red dragon here for Schwantz, so we do have Bolt 3. If he found those ice rods, which I don't think he did, then that would be great here. But using that morph command to its potential to increase the damage from Realm, that is Odin there for Double Down. So hey, Norsh is 3 for 3 Esper plus an Illumina from Lone Wolf. So huge shout out to Norsh this seed. Must be a lock thing, huh?
Yeah. Not only do we get that Illumina, we get all those Espers, but we did come back one more time when we look at our Terra. So Norsh could potentially be 4 Espers or 3 Espers in a character, or something unheard of in Worlds Collide.
All right, so that was Ifrit Shiva there for the Kefka at Narsh fight. So anybody that bought the ice rods, that would pay off right then and there. Meanwhile, Papa Shango spiking a Ragnarok in Zone Eater. Wow. That's that 100% random chess for you there, Glue.
That is juicy. That's almost worth a balloon to come here. Not to mention we could ever hang around here back in this cave.
All right, so Schwantz making it through. Dragon number 1, first dragon down of the seed, the red dragon, and now he has a stupid amount of XP from that dragon fight, along with an appropriate flame shield. Papa Shango did get their 3rd Esper here in Zone Eater, so that's nice to see. We'll see what's on that for them, and it looks like we got World of Ruin Narsh here for Double Down, going to finally grab that Terra, and maybe they are able to take the dragon now as well.
Yeah, I think Double Down's level is in the mid-30s, so that's about that sweet spot where you can feel comfortable taking down a dragon. Even better for Schwantz. You know, Schwantz was not at those levels yet, but if you take him down one dragon, you take down the rest of them, plus the 5 levels you get or whatever for the one you killed. So now we're reaching that phase where dragons are no longer an obstacle to us. They are something we are going to hunt out.
Shout out to Miranda here, as just a weapon and an item, or weapon and an armor shop here. We'll see if there's anything good. Blue dragon. Hey, more Valiant Knives. Yeah. Blue dragon here for Double Down. Now, when Madalast and Schwantz do this, they'll have access to that Bolt 3 spell, so this will go down a lot faster for them than it will for Double Down and Papa Shango potentially.
You say that, but Lox is already breaking the damage cap for Double Down.
He's just got to stay alive.
Yeah, I'm wondering if he may even go back and, let Lox swing 8 Valiant Knives and see what happens.
Yeah, the problem is, at this stage with an unscaled dragon, you might want to have a shield on you just in case. But there goes the blue dragon, and it looks like Schwantz is heading into Phoenix Cave, so this will be yet another dragon for them as well.
Yep, and that's a Pearl. Pearl Lance is a big old whatever for Double Down, but you know what? Now he's going to be approaching level 40. That is what you take from that dragon fight. And I didn't realize he had Realm and Lock, doing Valiant Knife shenanigans. So Double Down is very well situated to coast through the rest of the seed.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see if he swaps out Gogo for Terra here, because remember, we do know that there is an Illumina at the Moogle mines here in the World of Ruin, and Terra can actually use that Illumina, so we'll see if that swap eventually happens. Oh, speaking of Illumina, there's one in the chest in Phoenix Cave as well. Wow.
Very nice. Illumina's everywhere.
Illumina out of nowhere. Double Down, meanwhile, getting the choo-choo train. We do have Doom. Yes, I know it was on one of our earlier spells. And we'll see if this works for our train here. Where is Madalast? He's in a cave somewhere.
He is just finishing up Moogle Defense, so now he will have 6 Espers. Double Down. They were neck and neck, but all of these offerings are starting to rear their head for Double Down. He went from literally being on the same path as Madalast and slightly behind to now being a full 2 checks ahead based on the power of those offerings. So Valiant Knife offerings showing what they can do for you. And that's Golem as well. The rich get richer.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right, so Papa Shango is taking the tact of the left-hand side runners, doing that World of Balance Narsh loop. We still haven't gotten to the dragon here in Phoenix Cave to see what that is, or what is at the reward at the end. Madalast, meanwhile, taking advantage of Moogle Defense's forced party reform and going to Zone Eater Cave, putting their party down to 1. Really nice heads-up play here from them in order to have that check synergy.
Yeah, good plays rewarded with good luck. He gets a 1-turn engulf, and right on the Zone Eater belly he is. Do you think Double Down's going to look for the offering in the muster box here?
Absolutely not. Okay. So that Ragnarok Esper that we did end up getting from Lone Wolf has Strength +1 on it, so throw that on to Lock, or maybe if we go grab Terra with that Illumina, do that so that this way we can be all right. Let's see what this boss, or let's see what this dragon is here for Schwantz, as we already know that Terra is going to be the reward for Double Down, so is emptying out Gogo's accessories. That means he's probably going to put Terra into the party, and Matalas gets yeeted off of the bridge there. Oh, and hi, it is the white dragon, so let's go ahead and mute this puppy.
Yeah, white dragons are great find, as Schwantz mentioned. Each one of the 8 dragons is susceptible to one status ailment. Some of them more devastating than others. After the white dragon is muted, all it can really do is tickle you, or in this case, moderately punch you because it's unscaled.
Yeah, it's not going to be a big deal here.
Yeah.
Speaking of not big deals, Double Down with Welk, although if we hit the shell too many times and not the face, then we might be in trouble. But Realm with 98 HP is going to survive, so that's going to be Terra for Double Down here. Matalas is having fun with the Zone Eater Cave. It's a reason why some runners don't like to go there. I don't think I went here in my run, and Glue, you said you didn't do this in your run either, right?
No, I don't believe I did.
Yeah, I put my party down to 1 at some point, and then I found something else and said, never mind. So that's Dragon number 2 for Schwantz, with 2 Pearl Lances, 1 from the drop and 1 from the reward.
Alright, so that is a capture Terra, but who cares? In the future, that's going to be an Illumina Terra. Looks like, unfortunately, Terra can't wear the Valiant Knife, but, you know, Double Down will have to live with just having 2 Valiant Knife wearers instead of 3, and an Illumina wearer. I think he'll be just fine. Papa Shango's making his way up Narsh, so we've seen some of the divergence, but, you know, we're finally going to get a peek at some of Terra's checks, courtesy of Double Down. So we're at 6 and 6 on Double Down's screen. He is currently in the lead of all the progressions of all of our 4 runners. He's going to stall a little bit while he gets his Illumina, but that's just fine, because now he's got access to some pretty fast checks with Terra.
Is going to grab that. That is a Force Armor, unfortunately, at the end of the Phoenix Cave. So we just went in there for the dragon, but if you took a different dragon, maybe you would have saved yourself some time there. Shiva, the reward for Matalas there at the Zone Eater belly, bringing his party back up to 4, and it looks like Schwantz is going to go grab that Terra now. This makes sense for him, as he didn't do Mog's checks yet, right? So he's going to be the only one of our runners to take advantage of the fact that he could do all 4 Narsh checks all at once. Terra's, then Mog's, then Kefka at Narsh, then Moogle Defense. So putting this off for a little bit is definitely a good idea here. Meanwhile, where is Double Down going? Oh, we're getting the start of the Terra checks here.
Yeah, we get a free Welk check plus a Genji armor.
Yick.
Actually, I don't know if he found the Genji gloves for sale or if he took the Genji glove from the original weapon shop check, but now he could potentially turn that one of his mini Valiant Knife wearers into an Octo Knife wearer if he were so inclined to do so.
Yeah, I would advise against it like earlier on, just because the second quad animation just takes so long. But when you're this far into the seed now, you could start one-shotting bosses and having it not be overkill, right? So that's where we're trying to maximize the animation time here. We're getting very specific as to the things that we exactly want. It looks like Matalas is also going to go back and grab that Illumina. So for those of you that didn't know, the other reward that you do not choose at Mog's check is back here in the Moogle Mines in the World of Ruin. You can just talk to Lone Wolf right there. He'll drop the reward, and you also get a random item at the Moogle Charm spot. So a little 2 for the price of 1 there. So yeah, so you can either do the route through the opening, the secret cave opening, or you can go into the back of Arvis's house. I go into the back of Arvis's house just because I personally think it's faster. I haven't timed it out to see if it actually is, and I could be totally wrong. So feel free to correct me, Glue, or anyone else in the chat.
I don't have a stopwatch at the moment. I guess my phone is technically a stopwatch, plus a calculator, plus a messaging app, plus, you know, a phone. So maybe here in the near to immediate future we'll get that sorted out.
It's also another way to play Final Fantasy VI Worlds Collide if you download an emulator. I've definitely done that on long trips before. Welk was what exactly? I didn't quite see.
It was It was something. I was busy making a joke about my phone and I missed it.
Can we cheat? And can we look at Double Down's tracker? No, we can't cheat. Can't cheat.
I think it's to the top left.
Yeah, so let's cheat. All right, so that was an Esper, so he's at 6 and 7 now.
Yeah, glad you didn't go too far to the left, the bottom left. That's where his face cam is, and we don't want face cam. We just want video gameplay on the streams only.
Yeah, that's right. We're very specific about here. Schwann's not finding the offerings for sale in the shop, peeking the monster in a box there. That's rather unfortunate for them. So we'll see. They still don't really have access to monster in a box checks, even with getting Terra. So it won't be that much of a waste of time. But it's kind of a feels bad moment when we know that there are offerings out there for sale.
Yeah, there was offerings for sale. Double Down showed us that there was offerings in the chest, and plus Katana Soul still exists. So there's plenty of access to the offerings if you happen to stumble across them. Which Valiant Knives and offerings just go so well together that it's just a huge boost to your offensive firepower. And again, we're starting to see Double Down separate himself because he's the one who's capitalizing the most on that setup.
Yeah, what would you be looking for in treasure chests here, or is it just too many to pass up?
It's a handful of things. Because they're 100% random, you could easily stumble across something, good. I know at this point in time we have an Illumina Valiant Knife.
Yeah, we have Illumina Valiant Knife Ultima. What else do we really need?
I could see, maybe thinking a Mirage Vest or something would be better. Maybe, somebody, rounding out the equipment pool. Because remember, we're just using 3 characters, so ideally you want those characters as best as possible. Not just from a level standpoint by maximizing the HP or XP that they're getting, but you also want to be able to have them as well outfitted as possible. Because it is a little different. Because ideally you want one character not acting. But when you only have 3, you kind of limit. You can run into a lot of scenarios where you're limiting yourself as far as your DPS that you can put out or not. So the better outfitted they are, and with a 100% randomized chest, the more likely you are to get that.
That juicy loot box. Golem there for Papa Shango. So that's calmness protection for them. And it looks like Schwantz is going to be the first to 3 dragons here after he goes and fights this one. Double Down is almost at the end of the sealed gate cave, so we'll see what this is for them there.
And Madalas is getting his golem. Another thing too, maybe Double Down, doesn't have any money left, and we do sell stuff back for a half rate, so maybe he knows the auction house is an Esper, and ideally you want to go there with 90k GP.
Yeah.
To be able to clear out some of the slots, so you can get the Esper that is in there to show up a little bit faster. So maybe that's what he's doing there too.
Yeah, that's a great call. We do see Shadow at the end of the sealed gate cave, so that is our character requirement for the seed. Don't know if we're going to do Floating Continent at this point, but he does give us access to a quick check with Gao Manor and a peekable one with Velt Cave. So all of a sudden, the seed is opened back up for us again a little bit here after sort of bottlenecked, right? With Gogo's check not being a character and Mog's 2 checks being Espers.
Yeah, would you immediately go to Floating Continent here if you were Double Down and not the other side of the screen with a different path?
I would check this first, and if this is not an Esper, I would consider it, but you have all of Terra's checks still left, right? Well, actually no, because we did did rather well. We've got Zozo Tower and Mobila's and Leet River. So now that this is an Esper, we're definitely not going to do Floating Continent. But if that was, something else, then maybe I would consider it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's a good analysis of that situation. Needing 3 Espers and needing 2 Espers are 2 different scenarios. There's a lot of crappy checks left with Terra, but with one of them peekable. Let's go do one of the less crappy of the 2, see what that is or isn't. Mm-hmm. Now that we just need to, and then luck back into it some way, somehow.
Yeah, additionally, Double Down has not done what Papa Shango is doing here, which is hopping into Phoenix Cave, so he doesn't know what that reward is. We obviously know that is a dead end, but that's another opportunity for an Esper at this point as well, right? So I think knowing all the checks that Double Down has on the table, putting the floating continent to the side is probably the right idea there.
Yeah, the nice thing about the floating continent is that you're probably for sure coming down with either A, your requirements, or B, a character that's going to lead you to your requirements pretty quickly. Whether that's a Setzer, Cyan, or an Edgar. As long as you don't find like Gao and Strago up there, you're coming down pretty well positioned to quickly get into the tower. When you don't do it, you're saying, I'm not going to spend those 11 minutes doing that floating continent. But then you're also saying, maybe I end up doing more checks in the aggregate that add up over to 11 minutes.
All right, so you have both Madalast and Schwantz here in World of Balance, Narsh. So we'll be able to see Schwantz do all 4 of the checks in succession, whereas Madalast here is having to come back for this Welk Snail spot. And Double Down finds Vargas and the Ipus here at the top of Zozo Tower. Papa Shango walking through Phoenix Cave, so they will at some point get to their dragon and their whatever the heck it was at the end of this, a Force Shield or some other garbage.
Oh, no, Force Armor, even better.
Well,
did Papa Shango open some chests and then you find that sword you found in here?
He did not. He walked right past that Illumina. So, I mean, it makes sense. He already knows where one is, right? In the back of Moogle Mines. So, it's not as needed for him. And that's Carbuncle at the top of Zozo Tower. And already, Double Down is 1 Esper away from character and Esper requirements. However, he still has a bunch of dragons to go fight.
Yeah, the 4 dragons Double Down could access right now are the Opera Dragon, the 2 within Kefka's Tower, and then he does have access to 1 more. He just doesn't have a quick way to deal with them. The Fanatics Tower Dragon. Well, I take that back. He probably has access to Illumina.
Ultima.
Ultima, excuse me. Illumina Ultima.
Same thing.
Yeah, he just hasn't been utilizing it because the Valiant Knives have been out DPSing it, but like Madalast is kind of, that same logic everyone else is coming across. Let's go here. Let's maybe stumble across some progression while doing a dragon.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. We'll see here if this will be Esper requirement for Double Down at the Velt Cave, as that is Ragnarok for Schwantz. That's another Dragon Down for Papa Shango, so that'll be 2 for them. But yeah, so Double Down does have Opera Dragon. We do not have access to the Mount Zozo Dragon without Cyan, and we do not have access to the Ancient Castle Dragon without Edgar, as we see a Merchant Sprite on the ground there, and that is a big beefy reset for them. That is the Illumina for Madalast there in that chest from Phoenix Cave. If they know where the Genji Glove shop is, then they can have a Genji Glove 2 Illumina on whomever is their Illumina user.
Well, he has a Genji Glove Illumina Ragnarok on somebody, so it's kind of like, would you rather have Genji Illumina Ragnarok or Genji Illumina? Yeah. I'm not sure there's a wrong choice to be had there.
All right, so Double Down not even peeking with the little girl, and it is Cyan down here at Mobliz, so that does open up some more checks, as you mentioned. Yeah. It will open up Mount Zozo, which is another place to go take a dragon. It's almost like I'm prophetic in what I said earlier. And then Doma Siege is another quick peekable check. So we'll see if Double Down heads to Mount Zozo first, or if he just goes where he can peek.
I think it's 1,000% idea here is let's get this fella and do this 1 dragon check. Because Double Down knows there's an Esper in the auction house, but it looks like he is just not willing to gamble today, which is understandable. The auction house is a miserable place, and no one should ever go there.
Case in point.
But yeah, I think I personally did this as well. I was like, this was character number 8 for me. I was like, but you know what? I needed like 2 or 3 more Espers plus some dragons. Like, let's go to his 1 dragon. Let's do this quickly and take advantage of the fact that Cyan has fantastic checks.
It is Atma, though, unfortunately, and Double Down had a party of 3 coming in here, so maybe he might have wanted to, get a party of 4 so that he would have at least 2 characters here, and this is going to be a rough go of it now that Locke is face down on the floor.
And as long as Locke can get 1 more turn, he is fine, but getting Locke 1 more turn here isn't guaranteed. You got to hope Atma just takes out all his anger here on this Cyan on his next turn.
Tre Fuego, and back down it is for Cyan, but Lock holds on. Oh,
Yeah.
no. Oh, didn't get it done, unfortunately, and that's going to be a wipe there. But at least he knows that this is Cyan. So if you're double down, do you go back and do this, or do you pivot to Auction House for your last Esper here?
Oh, it's definitely a matter of principle. Like you have to have the rematch, right? You can't just go down in there and lose to an Atma and not go back in and let that fellow continue to terrorize Mobliss. Mobliss is a fantastic town, great view, even though it's Kefka did some rearranging in there with the furniture. Also, great news publication comes out of this town as well, so you got to go back in there and help him out.
Yeah, he's just trying to figure out who would be the actual best fourth character. Interesting thing about this Funbaba fight, if you down a character on purpose, Funbaba will always Baba Breath the fallen ally before any of the other ones that are standing up. So it might be as easy as just have Terra swing that Illumina and knock Gogo over, right? So that could be a strategy here. This way we know that Gogo will get blown away, and then one other character will get blown away, and Double Down will be fighting with two of his main party here instead of just the one. So it'll hopefully be a lot better for them.
Yeah. All right, just take Gogo down, shoot him down, Illumina him in the face. And as Schwantz mentioned, now we get to fight this fight 2v1.
Alright, so Schwantz is finally done with the World of Balance Norsh loop, getting their 3 Espers. Actually, 4 Espers, right? Because Welp was also an Esper. 4 Espers in one spot. So they are almost at Double Down's heels here at 6 characters, 9 Espers. Papa Shango taking a walk behind the Conga line here at Zozo Tower. So this, for them, is going to be Esper number 8. And Madalas is going to get the bad news about Cyan. Now, his check and character count looks a little different. Excuse me, a little different from Double Down here. Cyan is much more valuable to Madalas than it is to Double Down.
Yep, with those 2 Espers, Double Dream isn't entirely out of the equation either. Down goes Gogo through some self-inflicted damage, courtesy of Double Down himself. Unfortunately, because he reformed the party, his Realm and his Lock got their HP filled back up, but that's fine. At least they'll be able to survive a Quake or a Fire 3 on this next Atma go-round.
Alright, so we'll see how Madalas deals with this. I think he has a party of 4, unlike Double Down, who had a party of 3. And it looks like most of our runners have now transitioned over to a party of 4, except for Double Down. Some of them have been doing it all seed. I think the ones that had the experience eggs, right, which is everybody but Schwantz here. Whereas Terra was sort of a late add on purpose in that particular case.
All right, round 2 for Double Down v Atma. Again, his Realm is at full HP. Plus, but this time we got Terra tagged along, so as long as Terra doesn't proc too many Illumina swings here, it'll go pretty well for him.
Yeah, we've got Ultima coming out of Realm, so this shouldn't be too big of a deal. Schwantz, meanwhile, picking up their Shadow here.
Very nice.
I don't know if this Esper count is correct. Let's double check.
I think he's in the chat. Do you want us to PM him and ask him?
No, it's not correct. So let's go ahead and fix that. Because I obviously know what I did in this run, and the answer will be revealed before all. But I definitely was not in go mode yet.
Mm-hmm. All right. Double Down wins the rematch. Down goes Atma. Madalas is having no problem himself with his Atma fight here. Yeah, so we got Cyan. We still need 4 more dragons for Double Down plus 1 more Esper, but we got plenty of checks now at our disposal to come across that last Esper.
All right, and that is Phoenix there at Gao Manor. Double Down did show us Phoenix before. That's right. That is Shadow for Papa Shango there at 7 characters and 8 Espers. So they'll be at the same spot that Schwantz is at, essentially, other than the 1 dragon kill after a visit over to Gao Manor. And unfortunately, the first thing you want to do is head to Velt, and we already know that this is a merchant sprite, so it's going to be a feels bad moment at the end of this here. Double down. Did he buy the Rustrid?
Yes.
He did not.
He was making a live remove.
Oh man, I hate
Sorry,
to see it happen.
Best of us, yeah.
Listen, you can't spell Worlds Collide without brain fart. No, that's not true.
Is Madalas going back for more Thunder Rods? Ooh, no, he's going back for something in the item shop.
Yeah, I know that I ran out of Phoenix Downs, so I looked for a little bit for that. Because when you have a Valiant Knife and multiple Valiant Knife users, they finna die a lot. So you have to get them back up with Phoenix Downs if you don't have any life spells. Oh, hello.
Ooh. Hello.
That's an Illumina in Mount Zozo, too. So there's one in Phoenix Cave, one in Mount Zozo, and one from the other Lone Wolf. So you just had to dig for the Illuminas in this seed. They were there. They just wanted to be found. They just weren't in the shops.
Ooh, double down thinking twice of it. He's going to save before he takes on this Storm Dragon, or the Storm Dragon spot. What dragon it is, we don't know yet.
So we do have one of our runners, Madalast, in chat saying, this is, I need warp stones for Mount Zozo. So that's why he is checking some of these item shops here to make sure he has, he's got the warp stones. Schwantz and Papa Shango both see the reward as Cyan. One is doing it and one is not doing it. So we'll see where Papa Shango decides to go here. Schwantz is out of viable options that aren't the floating continent, though, looking at his characters and his checks. He does have Zone Eater Cave, I think, and then Bleat River and Zozo Tower, which we have seen some of our other runners do. We know that those are Espers, but Schwantz does not. Maybe he just is like, oh, Cyan, I can go do Mount Zozo now. Let's go do this, and I get a 2 for the price of 1 sort of deal.
Yeah, the only downside to doing this Mount Zozo is, one, you're doing a dragon, but two, if it's dead, it's kind of, you're down to. I really hope Doma Siege isn't dead, because now you're reaching that point to where we are eclipsing the amount of time it would have taken us to completed the floating continent.
Mm-hmm.
So now not only do you make up in your mind like, it's sunk cost. No, I definitely never go up there. Now you just feel bad and you're second guessing yourself the rest of the season. Hopefully this is an Esper for double down, and on cue it is a sparkling dot. So that means it's not
Wah, wah, wow. Yeah. Your princess is in another castle, double down.
Yeah, but fortunately, Cyan, this isn't only good check. Cyan gives us access to hopefully Doma Siege, which is the World of Balance Doma check. Is not a shiny dot laying on the ground. Hopefully that is either A, the Esper we desperately want, or B, a character that will lead to the Esper very fast.
Alright, so Schwantz out of MP here, deciding to use his rods. Listen, if you bought them at the beginning of the seed, you should probably use them as much as you possibly can, right? Everything in your inventory is a consumable, and you should use them if you've got them. Yeti there for Papa Shango, putting in work with the Valiant Knife, so maybe we will have a Yeti in the final party for them. So we have one member of the Save Umaro Foundation, at least on stream here for you, Glue.
Temporary membership. We'll see if it's going to be promoted to a full membership or not. Double down, making his way on over the Doma Siege. We
Not
see Locke walking out. Not a character. Feels pretty good, but we're still a little tensed up at the moment.
Dataluma here, and we can steal some fun stuff from Dataluma.
No, we cannot, because if he steals gold, we don't get it back.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, and if this is not an Esper, right? Does he do Auction House? Does he do Zone Eater?
It may, if this isn't an Esper and he doesn't go to Auction House, I think it's a case of he forgot, and that just happens sometimes when you're, especially in a shop like this, Seed, where all the shops are laying around. You're wondering, oh, don't forget, where the Genji gloves and the offerings are. It's real easy to forget some minor details like that. And moment of truth, though.
Ooh, saved by the Ifrit.
Nice.
Yeah, so he's got 3 more dragons to kill, and we probably know which ones those will be, right, Clue? Those will be Opera House and the 2 in KT.
Yep.
I don't think you go to Phoenix Cave to go do that now.
No, I think you can comfortably swap that Paladin's shield around so that you can 1v1 the dragons in the tower despite them being unscaled. And oh no, Papa Shango. Oh no, Atma's a little spicy today. He's
Yeah.
taking down two of our runners, two very strong runners at that.
Alright, so Schwantz went past the dragon here. Maybe he's hoping that this is an Esper with some good spells on it. Because I've only seen Ultimate and Bolt 3, really, as decent spells in this run. We haven't really seen anything other than those. And Bolt 3 is only on the runners that went to the auction house. So, unless you leaned into the Valiant Knives or the Ultima, you're going to be hard up for some decent magic casters in the seed. Madalas there getting the bad news that it is an economizer here. Red dragon for double down, so this is the first of the 3 dragons he needs for Kefka unlocked. And Papa Shango did not do Moogle defense yet, so this will be his 10th Esper here for Go. Or at least 2/3 of Go, rather.
Yeah, he'll still need to visit some of the friendly neighborhood dragons, but the 2 of them are on the way to where you want to go anyways, because it doesn't matter. There is no Kefka Tower skip in this flag set, so you walk past them anyway, so very appropriate, very good idea to just do those 2 and assume that you just need to do 3. Double down with his red dragon, flame shield for his trouble. I fully expect him to see him booking his Airbnb for Kefka's Tower now.
Yeah, so this will be Esper number 10 for Madalast, who has 3 dragons under their belt, so those 2 are about, even with one another here. I'm assuming that we'll get maybe an Opera Dragon and a Kefka Tower Dragon for Madalast, but we'll see if they decide just to head into the tower, because you got 2 dragons in there. It's just a matter of, do you want to split your party to take them or not, or more about or do shenanigans, right?
Yeah, one key difference is they'll be heading into the tower at the same time. Except Double Downs utilize 3 characters, while Madalast has had 4 full characters. So they both had a few struggles. Double Down at my weapon, plus the Rust Rid Madalast was a little self-inflicted as well when he walked past the lone wolf spot. But other than that, they're still arriving at the same spot at the same time, despite the very different approaches to the seed. So interesting debate there if one was the appropriate call or not the other, if you were leaning one way or the other there.
Schwant's getting greedy here, going back for a second Illumina. So must have found a Genji glove somewhere along the way for the dragon drop or something like that. Papa Shango is, oh boy. Thankfully, regular Atma weapon doesn't have a lot of magic power. Otherwise, this would be an interesting attack here.
He has a lot of bravado, but he doesn't have a lot of magic power to really punish you with spells like Honor, so they just kind of tickle a little bit.
Alright, so Schwantz needs one more Esper, and he went for it in Mount Zozo, didn't find it, so now he's got Doma Siege left, and we did see that he did take his party down to 1 after the sealed gate cave, but then peaked Mobliz and was like, oh, there's Cyan here, I don't have to do Zone Eater anymore. Little did I know that it would have been faster. Alright, Esper number 10 for Papa Shango. Dragon number 4 for Madalast.
Very nice. So yeah, Double Down did a little bit of last minute shopping in Albrook. I think he picked up some hero rings for his mini Illumina wares at his disposal if he wanted to go that route. And again, Madalast should be not far behind him. Spreading out the 3 characters, looks like Locke is probably... I think Locke has had a plus HP Esper most of this time too, so Locke is probably the best situated of the 3 to handle the 2 fights.
Yeah, because there is no Kefka Tower skip in this flag set, so we're gonna have to do the tower the quote-unquote normal way here.
Mm-hmm.
Papa Shango gonna grab their Fire Dragon, and it looks like the right decision's being made here, heading to Doma Siege for the last shiny stone for Schwantz. And he will be soon joining Double Down and Madalast in the tower. Papa Shango will be joining them as soon as he's done with this fight, so still anybody's race here, Glue.
Yeah, very tight, very tense finish here. We've seen, I think with this seed, with the way it's gone, we've ended up here a little different way, based on some of the routes we took them, but we've kind of caught back up to where we all ended up on the same road. Just maybe took some different side roads at different times. So very linear seed and some very different approaches. We've seen a couple of our runners do the auction house early, a couple of our runners doing a dragon as soon as they thought they possibly could, and a couple of our runners just rooting a little bit more and being rewarded with finding an offering in a chest you normally wouldn't visit, and then all the Illuminas. They ended up being out in the world. So a lot of different approaches, but a lot of the same results ending up here at the similar time.
All right, so that's dragon number 3 for Papa Shango, Esper number 10 there for Schwantz. And
Nice.
it's now time for the tower for all 4 of our runners. So while our runners are getting set up to walk through Kefka's tower, you want to sort of plug an event that will be coming up very shortly that is near and dear to your heart, Mr. Glue.
Oh yeah, of course. Our Moogle Cup, our 3rd edition of our Moogle Cup, our new player tournament, officially kicks off March 9th this Sunday. That is when Moogles can start running their official runs. We definitely need to update that to the Moogle Cup 3 doc, not the rules. We don't care about the rules anymore. We care about the action now. But anywho, if you happen to see some of the runners on there streaming in our Live Now thread or out in the streams, encourage them on. A lot of the runners that are participating in the Moogle Cup are new to our community in general, news to Worlds Collide, and some of them are even new to streaming. So if you see them, tell them hello, encourage them on. The Moogle Cup is all about learning and engagement, and we wish to give all of the participants a warm as welcome to our community as possible.
Yeah, very well said. I am very excited to be doing mentoring for the 3rd Moogle Cup in a row. I really enjoy doing. Oh no, Cyan meant to hurt but not kill realm there. So I really enjoy doing mentoring. It really gives me a different perspective on the way things are. Because if you can't explain what you're doing to someone else, then it makes your strategy. Not that it's not viable, but if it's something that's repeatable and you're explaining it and you're explaining why you're doing it, it makes it sort of that much stronger. And I also like learning the different perspectives of, hey, why did you do this instead of just that, right? Mm-hmm. And if you can't explain, then you go, well, you've just taught me something because I don't know why I'm doing this and not that. Madalas hitting Ultros in the back for 2 quad 9s there, so that's an easy Inferno spot. Go ahead.
I was curious there why he berserked his realm. Without that, he was going to take down that Ice Dragon. Well, maybe if Double Down's around it, we'll ask him. But either way, Ice Dragon down for Double Down, and I'm sure he learned a lesson about the Scimitar and sharp stabby things. It can be a little dangerous sometimes.
Yeah, instant death procs are pretty powerful, and you know what else is powerful?
Yes, that was Wake.
Oh boy.
Ooh.
Yeah, Dirt Dragon coming out swinging here against Madalas. So this is which lane is this on? Is this on the party 3 lane?
Yeah, this is on the 3rd lane.
Oh boy.
So this is this Inferno spot lane. But once he's past this is fine. He's just got to make it through whatever is at the Guardian spot, and then he'll get access to a save point and all of this progress saved. But yeah. Red cap is actually pretty nice, because I don't think there was muscle belts anybody had found, so that will come in handy for the mini Valiant Map wearers. And Double Down, we know he needs 5 dragons, so he's going to get that red cap as well.
Yep, there it is. Plus 25% HP to if you can wear that red cap. Madalas, the first runner on stream here to get our official go mode with characters plus Espers plus dragons.
Ooh,
Double Down feeling the wrath of the opening Quake here.
Yeah, Dirt Dragon's making a hard pitch on why you should buy at least 1 Gaia gear throughout your seed.
Sure, let's go with that. Meanwhile, we have Dirt Dragon here for Schwantz and Ice Dragon for Papa Shango. So that was the one on the other side of Kefka's tower, and Umaro just got bodied there.
Ooh. Alright, Double Down. Second with his official requirements. That is Dragon number 5. Madalas running around the switches doing little furniture decorating with the 4-ton weights. Do you think those weights really weigh 4 tons, or that 4T is just painted on there? It's like something from Roadrunner, Wile E. Coyote cartoon.
Yeah, maybe the T stands for something other than tons, because there's no way. I mean, Cyan's glare is pretty menacing if you've ever seen it as an emote in the Worlds Collide Discord, but I think he would probably throw a hernia if he had to move a 4-ton weight at his age.
Yeah, I think in the Ultimania Guard 2, Realm's official age is 11, so the fact that an 11-year-old can push it off over the ledge, I don't think it really is what it says it is.
Maybe it's just bowling balls and not a
maybe
4-ton weight. It kind of
them.
looks like a bowling ball bag. I have the single bowling ball bags, not the double ones. The double ones look more like duffels, whereas the single ones, they kind of look like those weights.
Either way, if you're going to buy some weights, you definitely don't buy them from Zozo, because they're not what they say they are.
Funky Otters saying that maybe Realm is just very buff. Well, if she is the one that had the Strength +1 Esper on all game, then we stand corrected. They call her the murder child for a reason, right?
Ooh, Madalas is doing something a little innovative there. Looks like they got a gem box on their Mog and is double casting the Bolt 3, and I would assume the Ultima as well in the near future. You don't see a lot of gem box strategies these days.
Yeah, the problem with gem box is that we cannot cast Espers or summon Espers if you use the gem box or X magic. So maybe it's just for this one fight, and then he'll take it off for the final Kefka fight, because we do have Golem and Siren, at least for tiers 2 and 3. So we're going to want to use our Esper summons. We also have Shote and Odin and potentially Palinor. So we got plenty of Espers that we could use for final Kefka. So having that gem box on is not ideal for the final fight anyway. Not to mention, you can get counterattacked in between your casts of each spell with X magic, and final Kefka likes to counter a lot, so that can become a problem.
All right, so double down is, I think that was the second Marshall / Prix fight.
Yeah, that was Tara found out real fast why Marshall level 76 or 66 rather is a bit beefy. So all of the enemies inside of Kefka's Tower now are at least level 66. Those that have 8 characters, they're at level 69. So the bosses are going to be way harder than normal inside of KT, although they are just kind of pushovers in terms of the ones we've seen so far, other than this SR Behemoth here.
Yeah, SR Behemoth, at this level, he has decent stats and he has access to some pretty cool abilities. Like, he can Ultima you. All this time he's going to use Absolute Zero, but he can do things like Ultima, Fallen Wand, some other of the really non-elemental spells that are dangerous. So a lot of these fights with these high levels, plus the high magic stat and something like this, you can get a little creative on you on how it come back to bite you.
Alright, so here's second phase for SR Behemoth for Madalas. So this will go down hopefully very soon with just a couple of Ultimas. Unfortunately, Realm didn't learn that Doom spell. Schwanson Double Down, meanwhile, cleared the middle path out, and Papa Shango about to take on their cranes at the top here. So still anybody's race, as some of our runners have 2 bosses defeated, some of them have 1 boss defeated here.
Yep. Down goes Gogo because the Piranha are hitting for 4,000 damage for some reason. Probably that level you mentioned that they happen to be. I think, yeah, this was a pretty fast Rizzo pass roll. There's a magic number that gets rolled every seed that's anywhere from 5 to 55 seconds. And once that time has eclipsed, Rizzo Pass is available to free show up on your screen once you have defeated the requisite number of fish on screen. So pretty fortunate roll here, but fortunate for everybody because that number is the same for everybody. And 2 swings of the Lumina. Rizzo Pass is no more. I like what Schwantz is doing here. If you have your mill character who's just not doing anything useful, but they can do an AoE, just let them eat through some of the fish, and then see if you can luck into a faster Rizzo Pass than letting your active party member being the one to do so.
Yeah, the thing is, though, unfortunately, Cyan got hit a few times from those piranhas. That bite, it is a damage multiplier of, I believe, 4. It's either 4 or 8. It's something ridiculous, but that will hurt at this high of a level. Normally, it's not a huge deal, but yeah, with these levels, it's not very fun. Is this another Marshall Barbie fight? So we didn't talk about this, that bosses are actually random instead of shuffled, so we might see bosses twice. I think this is the only boss that we've seen multiple times, though.
Yeah, we saw Atman Weapon, we saw Welk, but as far as the ones that have repeated them twice on the screen, yeah, I think Marshall was the only one we were about to see. Yeah, Senior Behemoth time for Double Down. This is a little scary with the Valiant Knight Warrior being on this side. If Double Down eats something like a Storm or an Absolute Zero or a Blizzard, he is fine because of his Minervas that he does not happen to have equipped at the moment. But yeah, that could have been Harry Fast if he had done something that was not normal Menowar, a little stronger.
Yeah, to your point here, using Cyan to cast Quarter on the SR Behemoth, really nice play. Even though he's got 1 HP, he's contributing to the fight here, and that should be this second half done on this particular thing. Schwantz against SR Behemoth doing a little Ultima Mimic action. We'll see how Papa Shango decides to deal with this fight here.
I think Double Down is done with this statue, so after a little menu action, he will be the first one to his final Kefka fight.
Alright, so it looks like we got Ragnarok for Papa Shango on Realm. So SR Behemoth can get pretty annoyed if you do certain things against him. So we'll make sure that that does not happen to Papa Shango here, because if that Ragnarok procs for Flare, then we might see a really nasty counterattack. But thankfully that doesn't happen, and now we're on to Phase 2. Phase 2 is normally never a problem here. Unfortunately, Realm does not have Doom for Schwantz, so it's Pearl Rod action. Gotta use them. And it looks like Madalast actually sneaks ahead of Double Down first on the switches here.
Yeah. Double Down doing a little re-reg on the armor, allowing Madalast to sneak past into the switches. So by virtue of that, we now get to play our favorite game with Madalast instead of Double Down. Ladies and gentlemen. Oh no, Papa Shango, oh no.
Yeah, remember when I said this part is not usually a problem? Both Papa Shango and Schwantz, victim of the sleep status that SR Behemoth will throw out. Thankfully, Schwantz has a little bit more armor on their realm than Papa Shango did. So hopefully this one last Pearl Rod should do it for them.
Hopefully one more Pearl Rod will do it for him. Anywho, turning our attention back to Madalast and not Schwantz's desperate grasp for survival here, which is this hostile Senior Behemoth. Fun game we like to play with the first runner who reaches the final fight is we would like to, you the audience, estimate how long will it take Madalast to defeat the 4 tiers of Final Kefka. For reference point, I'm going to personally guess 7 minutes on the dot. He is very well equipped. He has 4 incredibly strong members with high levels in his party. This should be a breeze for him. But 7 minutes is my guess. Schwantz, what are you throwing out there?
Let's go with 7:19 here, as we do have X magic on multiple members, and those animation casts are going to take a while. So I'm predicting that that's going to be the thing that slows us down here. Using the float is really good heads-up play here, because the face will death counter with Quake, and that's going to be a problem for our team. It's an even bigger problem here for Double Down, who had Realm and Cyan come in at 1 HP apiece. Realm was already down, and Cyan's job, I guess, in this fight is to look samurai for his team. Going to get Realm back up there, as Schwantz is our third runner on the switches. Papa Shango has gotten through SR Behemoth, no problem there for them.
What a comeback for Schwantz. You thought the auction house would detour him, but the auction house plus all the other obstacles thrown in his way, are thrown in your way. You've not let slow you down, so you're right there on the cusp of these very talented runners.
Yeah, I think part of it is when you get, oh no, Realm here is going to be stoned and left behind as Quake Death Counter comes out for Madalas. Cyan is down for Double Down as well. So yeah, what I was saying is that sometimes when stuff happens to you early on that's kind of bad, you sort of put things into overdrive, and I stopped looting chests very early on. I have, let's take a look at how many chests I've got here. That's my chest count. It's on the other side. 25, nope, 30, 37, sorry, 25 is the number of chests. 37 chests, which is ridiculously low in a normal seed. So that's things you do to make up time. Speaking of needing to make up time, Madalast here muting Sleep over on the one side, but only has a party of 3 to go up against this tier 2. So we'll see how this affects him here. Meanwhile, Double Down has been working with a party of 3, and oh no, here comes a Quake. And there goes Realm. And she's back!
Here comes back Realm. Oh my goodness.
She's back!
Yeah, just assume for the worst, and you'll always be prepared. Double Down with the great heads-up play there to... Yeah, that's one of the things, too, when you don't have targetable offense, when you're relying on these Valiant Knife players, is that things like that can happen to you. So if they can happen, that means they probably will happen. So it's best to just kind of, over-prepare for your math test if you can kill the correct person with your RNG. Luckily for Madalas, though, this is the tier 1 and tier 2 are where that X Magic Ultima is going to do its most damage. As Schwantz mentioned, it's a long animation, but when that animation is hitting 4 parts for heavy damage, it kind of makes up for it a little bit. When we get to tier 3 and tier 4, that is where Double Down and other runners, Valiant Knife offerings and Genji Illuminas will start to outclass that multi-target Illumina because there's not multiple targets anymore.
Alright, so out comes the Siren for those that have had it here on tier 2. So that's a Doom on Tools, that's a Mute on Magic for Schwantz. Madalast here using that Mute command already, and as you mentioned, here comes the big blue bubble strats as Double Down already with 10 hits, and Terra is in danger of dying, and that's going to be the last one for Terra, but has found access to life 3 somewhere, so is going to use that to be a get out of jail free card. And unfortunately, without access to Mute, that means Magic is going to run wild like Hulkamania. So we'll see how he deals with that on his second tier here.
Yeah, if you missed it, if you blinked and missed it, Double Down's lock is now doing 9999 with each swing of the Valiant Knife. So this tier will go down pretty fast. Just to kind of, you need to put a little halt on the brakes. We can push the gas on tier 3 and 4, but here we want to have the correct order of operations to eliminate some of these pieces.
All right, Madalast first up to tier 3, although Double Down is not going to be far behind with this ridiculous output here from his lock character with either running shoes or maybe he cast haste back on tier 1. So smart heads up play in order to get them really, really powerful.
Ooh,
really fast.
This is a pivotal moment. There's a 1-3 chance we follow up with Doom Tusk here.
We don't get the Doom Tusk, and we're on to tier 3. Realm also surviving that S-Cross after being morphed is huge for Double Down as well. Because once you die, you lose that morph status. Meanwhile, Schwantz looks like they are just attacking Magic here, so it looks like they're going to head up to tier 3 soon. We have Yeti swinging for Papa Shango here on tier 2, so it looks like we got the Doom coming out for Tools, so they are not far behind as well. Opening Merton for Double Down, and oh no, that is Realm losing their morph status there.
Yeah, plus that Merton he'll do lock up a little bit. And 40,000 is a nice, sweet number. You can take down tier 3 and tier 4 in 2 turns with that number, but now with that heal, I think he's down to where he will need a few more turns. But just this is just maybe he leaves Realm behind. He doesn't need him, but maybe he feels the need to not leave one of his soldiers behind. Nope, he's going to pick her back up.
That gives Madalast an opportunity here to head up to final Kefka. That was so fast I didn't even see what happened, but when you are ultimating everything. You don't have to worry about how am I going to kill girl, and we do have access to golem here, so that is going to be pretty nice. And fortunately, the morph meter never actually ticked down for Double Down, so he is actually able to reuse the morph command due to some very fancy weight tricking. So another plug for making sure you have your mechanics in, speaking about Moogle Cup and all that, as Double Down does block the first calmness there out from Terra, and it looks like Manalast here swinging away with that double quad nines. That is a train out for Schwantz, so that means we are almost at the end. Double calmness gets blocked from Golem there on one end, and the Illumina's on the other.
Yeah.
Hyperdrive coming out for Manalast, so that means Kefka is now under 30,000 HP. Can he do enough damage here to avoid the Goner attack?
Yeah,
that's going to be
Goner
the
coming out is
question.
going to be huge because Double Down can essentially two-turn his Kefka fight with his 2 Valiant Knife offering wearing. So these procs and this Goner partially coming out are actually the Manalast's detriment for this race.
Yeah, and Manalast also is out of MP with his Xbox.
Ooh.
Wow, his X Magic user. It doesn't
But
matter though.
Yeah.
1:25:50 official time there for Manalast. I started the timer a couple of seconds late. That's my bad. But he is your winner for this particular race here. As Double Down is going to be not far behind with this Valiant Knife onslaught that we've got there. And that's going to do it. 1:26:11 their official time there. So GG's for Double Down.
And GG's the Manalast, GG's the Double Down. Papa Shango and Schwantz not far behind here. Schwantz plucking some pearls. Kefka descending for Papa Shango to meet his fate as well.
Yeah, so unfortunately Schwantz got hit with Train in Tier 3, so he's going to have to do something with his 2 magic casters here. That is not magic, and it looks like they're going to be cracking rods. So still trying to use those rods that we bought at the very beginning of the game there. And there goes the shield. Here comes the lock, double Valiant Knife. And that is going to do it for Kefka as well. Papa Shango, meanwhile, swinging for the fences there.
Ooh.
Finishing just behind Schwantz. 1:26:50 for Schwantz and 1:26:56 for Papa Shango. So just a few second difference there. But all of our runners essentially within a minute or so of one another. So really crazy race times here for these 4.
Yes, indeed. And again, we saw a lot of different strategies. We saw the 3 characters plus offerings from Double Down. We saw 4 characters from Manalast. We saw Auction House and a lot of Auction House from Schwantz. And then Papa Shango, we saw kind of a little bit of everywhere everybody else went. Little Neapolitan flavored ice cream for Papa Shango. But despite all that, very similar times across the board.
So now that we've got this week past us and we have 4 of our top 8 runners on stream, I was going to list all 8 of the runners in a little picture, but I completely forgot to do that now. So great. I'm glad that I took the time to do that, or not do that as it were. I'm going to pull up the flags for next week's event as soon as they load here. OBS. Oh no. Okay. OBS is working on it. Here we go. It is Doom's Rage. So you've played a bunch of Doom's Rage flags, I think both as like during the Warring Triads event. Were you part of the Warring Triads event, Drinkskoo?
Yes, I was, my friend.
So what did you think about the Doom's Rage flag set when you had to play it? And then also, what about it, now that you're revisiting it a little bit?
If you were a fan of the A button, Doom's Rage is the flag set for you. We do give access to a lot of big swords, a nice little vigor buff. Plus, we have increased equip rates. So all those big swords that are in the item pools, such as Illumina's, Ragnarok's, Valiant Knives, Atma weapons, and fixed dice, whatever. The equipment rate being bumped up to 50%. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's true. That you can find 7 Megas rods in a Doom Rage here, if you list. But anywho, a lot of people can wear all those wonderful things, so it's really fun. Every once in a while to dust off the A button and put those big swords when you find them on some characters and utilize that. But Another cool thing about the Doom's Rage is it's not just all gas. There is a big threat waiting for you at the end of the seed with the shuffled statues. And to fight some of the tougher bosses while your party's compromised, especially knowing you have to fight a goddess, because you essentially either A, have to find an offering, or B, some way somehow come across some other offense, whether through breakables or just, a lore or a spell or something, for that one exact fight, because you can't just swing an Illumina at her, right? Because you can chalk love token. Um, Once there's love token, the fight's kind of slanted in her favor. So there's some danger ahead for you despite all of the wonderful offense you were given. So nice, fun little flag set for us offense-loving folks.
Yeah, we will be able to use ice spells in this particular seed, but a huge nerf to magic across the board between the -10 magic power, the less learn rate for your spells, where MP multiplier is 4 instead of the standard 5, and then no Ultima, no Merton, no Fire, which I think is a lot of boss weaknesses, and then no Bolt spells, which are a lot of mechanical bosses' weaknesses, right? So definitely leaning into the physical offensive heavy builds. Also, we get some rewards for defeating some dragons. We get auto reflect for the first, auto haste for the third, and then auto image if we don't find calmness protection for the fifth. And as a resident dragon slayer himself here, Drinks Glue, do you ever find yourself getting all the way up to 5 for auto image, or do you have to see if you don't come across calmness protection maybe in your seed?
Auto image is kind of cool, but if you find yourself defeating 5 dragons, something's probably gone horribly wrong. So I think 5's a little unnecessary. 3 is probably the nice little sweet spot. Auto reflect is kind of a boon and a bust at the same time. It can be a hindrance if you need to heal, but it could be a boon because it takes a lot of the spells like Fire 3 that some bosses can throw at you and kind of wipes them off the board. But auto haste is probably the sweet spot for me personally. End up at 3 dragons some way somehow, and auto haste just allows you essentially to act twice for every time a boss normally act once, as long as you got some proper weight tricking in there. So that plus all of the big swords that the high tier physical offense you will eventually come across, just allow for some quick fights and really allows you to put the put the gas to the engine and see what you can do.
Yeah, additionally, I know you mentioned it, but the most difficult part of this flag set to me are the shuffled statue bosses, because not only do you know that they're in Kefka's tower, they will be probably towards their maximum level, because you're not going to fight the statue bosses unless you're ready to fight Kefka, right? So they'll be up there in levels, and if we get our 6 character 9 Esper unlock, the lowest that they will be is level, let's see here, let's do some math. 30 plus half of 15, that's what, 38, 39 plus 3, so they'll be level 41, 42, something like that, inside of Kefka's tower, if you don't take any dragons or go for the Kefka tower skip, which is going to be seed specific. It's sort of a range that we've got there. Not only that, but your party is going to be split up fighting against the hardest bosses in the game, and they're going to be at the highest levels that they're going to be. So that to me was the real difficulty of the Warring Triads flag sets. So it should be interesting to see if any of our runners do anything funky there to do that.
Yeah, I almost want to say that things like the Colosseum in this are kind of not worth it, because you're gonna all the big swords exist in the item reward tier, so you're better. I would argue you're better off working your way through dragons and things like that. However, there was a fellow who goes by the name of PB&J Please, who did visit the Colosseum in one of his runs, happened to find Illuminas, and then proceeded to beat his very talented counterpart by 40 minutes with those Illuminas. So I'm almost wondering if I should go to the Colosseum or not.
Yeah, I think that'll be one of those things where it depends on what your starting characters are. If you start with your favorite character, Umaro, or if you get a high tier weapon in one of the free checks from the characters that you start with. If you have a Colosseum build, you might as well just take a peek, right? Because it's much easier to fight a random encounter, even if the Colosseum AI is controlling it for one of those high tier items, versus a dragon for one of those high tier items, right? So
Yeah, and then I know we pretty much everything we talk about or spoke about is the offense. But Dune's Rage is also unique in that my first race in the Warring Triad was against Ensign Wesley, and there were no big swords given out, so it was really awkward in that you had this magic debuff, and there was no way to capitalize on the physical offense. So for a good 20,000, I think I was throwing stuff and relying on pearl rods. So yeah, there are some, they're kind of outliers, but there are some unique circumstances where those big swords don't exist in the seed, or they don't exist in the place you go. So you got to get really creative with the challenges it throws at you.
Yeah, definitely agree. When things don't go the way that the seed is designed for, then results may vary. So we got
end up with a lot of ice shields.
Yeah, so we talked about Moogle Cup. We talked about Flashback Battle Royale. I am trying to organize some sync races for the next couple of weeks. We're in week 8 now, where there's only 8 competitors, and then the final week there will be only 4. But if we can't get races synced up together, we'll do sort of this vodcast thing where I'll take 4 runners and put them together, and I'll take the other 4 runners in the top 8. So you will see all 8 runs of the Doom's Rage flag set, and you will see all 4 runs of the last week, which is the Battle Royale 2020 flag set, at least on Twitch here, or later on if you were watching this on YouTube. Thank you as well. Hit subscribe on YouTube, please. I think 3/4 of the people that watch our videos are not subscribed to us. And also you can follow us on Twitch to get notified whenever we go live, and you can be part of the stream. I might even call your name out on stream. That's pretty awesome, isn't it?
Yeah. You gonna give away prizes on the next stream?
Absolutely not. We are not that thirsty, I don't think. But anyway, thank you so much, Drinks Glue, for joining with me here in the commentary booth and for helping me out with tracking as well. Tracking 4 runners is hard with one person, so I appreciate you at least taking half the runners on tonight to track. And also, I tracked myself, and I kind of knew what I was doing, so I really was tracking 1.5 people tonight. So really appreciate you, Glue.
No, thank you for letting me track the good-looking runners on the left side of the screen, and you took the ones on the right.
Oh, of course, anytime. So thank you so much, everybody, for hanging out in the chat with us. And we're going to go and give someone a raid here. So we'll go do that if you are up for it. And we'll catch everybody on the next time.
Bye-bye.
Peace out, everybody.